All right, welcome back to another episode of Small Guys Podcast. Today we are doing Sorry to Bother You, 2018 movie, in an alternate present-day version of Oakland. Telemarketer Cassius Green, get it? Discovers a magical key to professional success, propelling him into a universe of greed. This movie has a 93% critic score and a 70% audience score. The budget was $3.5 million, and it made $18 million worldwide. So, turn to profit. Um, and it came out July 13th, 2018. Me, Brian, Mikey here today. What did you guys think of this? Brian, you recommended this movie. If you want to go
Yeah.
first.
All right. So actually, when I recommended this was when me and you were cruising through Atlanta,
Mhm.
and I already fucking had like huge respect for Lakeith. What's his last name?
How are you about to?
Lakeith Stanfield.
Yeah, there we go.
Hold
Lakeith
on.
Stanfield.
How are
Shut
you
the fuck
about
up,
to?
Mike. Shut the fuck up. I just woke up from a nap.
And by the way, Josh, you got the name wrong. Sorry not to bother you, but go on, Brian. I'm sorry.
Sorry. Oh, what did I say? I just
Sorry to
woke up from
bother
a
you.
nap. Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's a stupid ass excuse, Josh. But go on. Brian.
I'm just taking
sorry.
his excuse.
Yeah.
That's the name of it.
Yeah, he said I said it wrong, which I probably did. Sorry. Go ahead though.
All right. Whatever.
Cruising through Atlanta.
Yes. And then Josh was like, "Oh, we need a recommendation." I literally pulled up Netflix and I was like, "All right, what the fuck do we got?"
Mhm.
And that was like one of the first movies up because I had watched it probably late 2018, maybe early 2019 for the
So you
first
didn't see it
time.
in theaters.
No, my
Okay.
buddy told me about it. He was like, "You want to see this wild ass movie?" And he threw it on. And I'm like rewatching it. This is my first time watching it in what fucking 4 years now.
Yeah.
I forgot so much about this fucking movie. All I remember is that Lakeith was in it, and I was like, it's good enough.
Yeah.
But no, I fucking love this
So, hey,
movie.
Josh, who else is in this movie?
Tessa Thompson.
What else is she in, by the way?
Oh, she's in a lot of stuff actually. She's a very famous actress. I noticed her right away, but she's like in Creed, Selma. I'm trying to think what else. Oh, Dear White People. That's a really good movie.
Okay, yeah. Anything else in particular?
I'm not that familiar with her. I mean, she's pretty and amazing actress. I'll say all that stuff, but I really, besides those few things I mentioned, why do you know? Am I missing some?
No, I was just wondering. I didn't know she was in anything else other than those movies that you listed.
Oh, I know what you mean. She's in Men in Black.
Yeah, there we go.
There we go.
Yeah. No, she was really good. I like Detroit. I like her name in the movie. I thought that was funny. But Mike, what did you think of this movie?
I will say, okay, so there's two parts of me that want to go into this movie. One, I like the creative kind of free-flowing mindset that this movie has in terms of just like the outlandish ideas and a lot of the crazy scenes that they had. I will say one in particular that I really didn't like is when Detroit is standing up in her art gallery with the goat
I thought that part was awesome.
and the batteries.
Yeah, that part was wild.
I thought that was a little too stupid in my opinion. So like I said, one part of me wants to really kind of indulge in like that creative mind that they have with this movie, but part of me wants to say what the fuck to some of these scenes, like her standing up in the gallery and the horse dicks and a lot of the other stupid scenes in this movie.
Wait, do you want more horse dicks?
I want all the horse dicks.
I feel like we didn't get enough.
No, honestly. I thought that was a really stupid part of the movie, to be honest with you. I was caught up until that point where I was just like, fuck, he lost me.
Yeah,
what do you mean?
So I looked into it, and it's actually pretty funny because it seems like either people hate the ending or love the ending.
Yeah, dude, the ending was funny as fuck. And then we could just skip to it. I was thinking about it. So he ends up striking or gets offered the deal to basically become the horse MLK.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about it, and realistically, he could have done that contract because he was the one that went on the news and exposed it, and then the stock fucking skyrocketed.
Yeah,
and then he turned into a horse, and then he fought them to take down the fucking owner of the whole company. And it was realistically, he could have this could have been a part of the deal, and he could have got his $100 million.
Yeah, so he could have. So that's the theory, is that he could have accepted it.
Well,
yeah, I didn't think about that the first time around, but I was watching it this time and I was like, holy shit, did he just accept the deal and I missed it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good point. He could have
Yeah, so that is a
like
theory.
He could have fully done it because then he got his fiance back. He got to fucking be back with his friends, and then he got to work for this company again.
That's some big brain shit for sure.
Yeah. So I think, I don't know, this movie is just fucking fun, dude. Like, I knew it was goofy as shit, and I remember the whole horse person thing, but I couldn't remember what the fuck they were doing it for. And then I'm watching it, and again, I'm a sucker for a dystopian world, so to fucking throw us into this already, it's like, holy fuck, because honestly, we're not that far away from these fucking, what are they called, sleepways? Or whatever the fuck. Yeah, like, so it's basically, it's a company where you could fucking live there, like you live above the fucking factory, right?
Or it's WF. What is it? It's work
free.
Work free.
Yeah. So work free is the company, and basically they have you working like
for free
days. Well, yeah, for free, but you get to live there and they feed you. And at one point they have like the fucking like the cribs. That shit was cracking me up. And they're like just in one bunk bed, and he's like, "This is where we come over here to chill." But
that MTV,
I thought that was sweet, bro. So it's just like, again, I don't think we're far off from that. Like, Jeff Bezos could announce this in like 2 years and someone would probably sign up that we know.
Yeah.
So 2 things with that. One, I was gonna say the MTV crib scene and and the work free, I think is what it's called.
Yeah,
that was fucking hilarious. I'm not gonna lie. That's the one scene I think that got me. Just kind of laugh out loud. But like you said, like I don't necessarily think that we're close to it by all means, but I don't think we're far off. Like if Jeff, like you said, if Jeff Bezos was like, hey, like come work for Amazon for free housing and free food, I guarantee a lot of homeless people and a lot of people that we know might sign up for that. But just I think it's just not feasible with social media and the political backlash and things of that sort. But yeah, that crib scene definitely got me, the MTV cribs. And I mean, like I said, there's 2 parts of me for this movie. One, I want to indulge in the creative, like goofy side, like, but it's just like when you get into that dystopian theme, like I want it to be taken a little bit more serious with the like comedic like breaks. Like, yeah, like those are awesome, but it's just right when they got to the point where like he's character, I forgot his name. Fuck.
Cassius.
Yeah. I forgot when Cassius walks into the wrong door and he finds the horse people. That is where just like this movie just completely lost me.
Dude, that shit scared me.
Oh yeah, I generally
when he came out of the stall like that shit got me.
So when he as soon as he got in the showers, I like it all clicked with me, and I was like, "Holy shit, I remember the ending now." And the fucking door opens, bro, and he just comes flopping out. It's like, "Oh, what the fuck is this?" And he goes, I told you it was the Jade door. He goes, that is Jade. He goes, that is clearly Olive. He goes, that is the Jade door.
I truthfully, like, I really said, what the fuck out loud when I seen that. I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
No, do you know who that first horse was, right?
No, who was it?
It sounded familiar.
It was Forrest Whitaker.
Okay.
I heard it. I'm like, that sounds so familiar. I looked it up, and that's who it was. He voiced the first horse.
So we should go back. So this all starts because fucking
Terry Crews needs some money.
Yeah, Terry Crews is his uncle. He's uncle, and is fucking telling him like, he's like what, late 4 months on rent.
Yeah.
And then the uncle's like, but like I'm behind, and like the bank ends up wanting to like take the house and shit. And he fucking hones in and he gets his white voice. And what's that actor's name? It's Donnie Glover.
Oh, the old
yeah, it's Donnie Glover, dude. And he teaches him about the white voice. He goes, you gotta fucking talk like your bills are paid, like you don't really need this sale. And he's like, what? And he instantly snaps, and he fucking he turns into the guy that fucking he's David the manager Cross. For fucking David Cross from Alvin and the Chipmunks. And then
he's in
Keith's white voice is fucking Patton Oswalt.
yeah. Arrested Development too. He's in that.
That is him. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
But also, I feel like I always get that actor confused with so many other fucking people.
No, dude, there's a lot of cool Easter eggs. Like Detroit's white voice was Lily James. white British voice. Yeah.
Okay.
Like there was a bunch of just actors doing just voices, and I thought they're really funny. And I wonder how they shot those scenes. Like, did they just have like, I don't know, them speaking still, or did they just have them mouthing the words? I don't know. But it was the whole.
I don't know, but that I will say, Cassius's first time when he uses white person voice, that got me to laugh too. That was.
Yeah,
Are you talking about when they're at the bar, where he just hits it out of nowhere and he's just like, "This old man taught me a thing at work."
Well, yeah, that too, but I think more so when he was at work and he used it for the first time.
Well, I like, dude, because like you get this idea of the world is, again, it's not like a normal world. It's close to us, but it's different. And when he starts making the first phone call and it's like an earthquake, he's like, "What the fuck?" And he just pops up in the person's house when he's making the phone call. I fucking love that. And it goes on the montage of him just in and out of different fucking houses.
Yeah.
Like he calls the one, it's the old lady talking about her husband dying of cancer. And he's like, "Well, actually, if you get this encyclopedia, it has all the healing remedies."
She's like, goes, "What the?"
Well, it's funny. I got a telemarketer call today. And I hung up right away. Yeah.
Do you think they saw you? Did you like cover? Like, ah.
I don't know. I covered up. I was on the toilet when I answered it, but yeah, I don't know. It's funny. Oh, and then too, another voice before I forget. Rosario Dawson did the voice in the elevator. You know,
dude, the elevator was funny as fuck. The one where it's like he's about to get out and just goes, "You were in your sexual prime, Cassius," and Cassius was like, "What the fuck?" And the door just opens.
She's like, "I wish I had hands to feel you."
That was hilarious when she was trying to come on to Cassius. I'm sorry, I'm stupid. Actually, you had it right, Josh. I thought I was gonna say
it is sorry.
Sorry not to bother you. That's my fault.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Mike. I was like, I think he got it right.
Yeah, you're good. Yeah,
I wanted to be a hater, Josh. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
I'm a hater.
We're on our diabolical hater shit today. I get it.
Yeah. I saw another thing too. Like, there's some Easter eggs that you can catch like watching this through again. Like, there's a part where like at the end, Cassius is trying to run after that car that like threw the drink at him, and he starts running and trips over himself, and like technically he's got the horse in him already, and like baby horses can't like run and they trip over themselves a lot. Like, there's like little things like that, and then obviously like his name is Cassius Green. Cash is green. Like little things like that. I don't know. And then Danny Glover in the bar
Danny
saying,
Glover. I saw Danny Glover.
Oh, you're good. You're good.
Danny Glover.
Yeah, Danny Glover in the bar. He's like, "I'm too old for that shit." Really funny too. Yeah, love that callback. There's so much good shit, and then Armie Hammer does a really really good job. He like stole a show too.
I'm not. Yeah. He's a good actor, but a lot of his roles, I just don't like him in.
Well, that's because he's just so fucking good at playing a
dick.
Yeah, dude. No, and again, that whole scene's funny. They go to this like epic party, and dude, it's just so fucking cringy. Well, I guess we should jump back. So, Lakeith Cassius gets this job, and I forget what the company's name is, but what's really funny is Regal. He shows up at Regal, and it's all commission-based job, and he becomes friends with fucking Stephen Young, who's Glenn from The Walking Dead, if you watch that.
Squeeze.
Yeah, and he plays Squeeze is his name. So you get introduced to Squeeze, and then it's his buddy, his name, Salvador. And Salvador's the one that got him a job, but it's funny because when he shows up with those fucking trophies, dude, and he's like, "I was the regional manager, and I don't know who the fuck you are." And he's like,
dude, that's perfect because everyone lies on their resumes, I feel like, to a certain degree. That is so perfect.
And then the one that got me, because I'm not saying I've done this for someone in here, Aiden, when he goes, "Is this the same Salvador that used the same phone number for his job application?" And then Salvador walks up and goes, "Hey, what up, man?" He goes, "Hey."
So go on, I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say, so then from there, that's when he finds out about the white voice and shit, and then he moves on to becoming a power caller. And the whole thing with the power caller, we'll get into that after you say what you want to say. But like, and then that opens the door for basically the shit show that is the end.
So there's two things I want to say, but I'll save the second thing for later when we get a little bit deeper into this. But I've seen the scene before between
him and Salvador.
Yeah, where they're like, "I hope you have a beautiful day."
Dude, I fucking forgot that was from this movie. Like, I was watching it, and again, I hit the Leo, like, "Hey."
Like, seriously though, I seen that, and I literally almost could have like recited it word for word without seeing this movie before.
Dude,
how many times I've seen that on TikTok?
"You smell good. What is that?" And he says, "What about you?" And he goes, "Guess we're just two good smelling brothers out on the street today."
There's some really good parts of this movie and some really good scenes, and there's some really kind of like just shaky scenes for me.
Again, I like to have fun watching these movies. Like, yeah, you can call it shit, you call it what you want, but like this is just a fun watch start to finish. It had nothing but good actors. And then
Yeah.
to me, it felt like an original story, damn near, because now the ending
Huh?
is open for interpretation. Did he get double crossed, or was this a part of his $100 million deal?
Honest to God, I really didn't even think about him.
Yeah, again, I told you my first time through, I didn't, and then this time, like, it ended, and I wanted to text Josh, but I knew Josh hadn't seen it, and I was just like, "Fuck!" Like, I gotta know,
Yeah.
I don't.
because Josh, this was your first time seeing it as well, right?
Yeah, it was. I took it as that he was tricked, but when I watched, because I watched a breakdown video of it afterwards just to see, because I thought about that same thing too, and I'm like, maybe I'm like reading into things, and I saw that it actually is a very popular theory.
Mhm.
And then that's where I saw like either some people love the ending or some people like kind of hated it.
Right.
But like too, you have to accept when you're going into this movie that it is like a different reality. Like it's not, things are supposed to be
Yeah.
kind of weird.
Mhm. Things are different. Like, basically, the Coke can, it kind of reminded me, the way that she was holding and stuff reminded me of the Kendall Jenner fucking Coke thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
like
and
she becomes like a superstar.
that's another thing is like you could argue that, I mean, I don't even think it's really an argument. It's pretty obvious that there's some politic type things in this movie, and some people
Right.
hate that shit, and some
Mhm.
people don't mind it. I don't really mind it because I think it worked well with the story.
Right.
You know what I
But
mean?
especially with it being like a different type of world, like it did make sense
Yeah.
because it's like, yeah, they're jabbing at like society as a whole, but then it's like whole ass horse people. But then you sit there and you like think about it, like, man, I wouldn't put that past someone trying to make this shit happen already.
Yeah.
Bro, yeah, like
Thing.
it's a big brain type of movie, honestly. As stupid as it is,
Mhm.
and as non-serious as you can take this movie, just with some of the parts and scenes of this movie, there
Yeah.
are some things that are valid. And I wouldn't go as far as turning people into horses for labor
Well, the whole
or
No.
point is like a
slavery,
metaphor
but
working you like a horse and all that shit.
Right.
yeah,
And how they're just willing to like give themselves away basically. And
Yeah.
so that's another thing about it. So before Cash becomes a power caller, as they call it, and they're like the upstairs, and like the first dude, that scene where she's just punching the numbers going do 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 do, and you think it's gonna end and it goes on for like another 30 seconds. Funny as fuck. But right before that is
so fucking
the whole
stupid, bro.
strike thing where they're fucking the 30 minutes not calling during the fucking most critical time to like make calls.
Yeah.
And that's when they start the strike. And then that's when you start seeing Cassius being like, hey man, like I gotta take care of my uncle who's about to lose his house, but like I'm still with you guys, but I need to go upstairs and get this fucking check. And that's where you first see the division. And then yeah, that's where it becomes like a political thing, because then they're starting a picket line, and it like technically Cash has to cross it every fucking day to get to work.
Yeah.
And it's cool, you find out through the thing, like Detroit was like, all right, like I let you do this because you need to get your bag, and I respect that, but also now you're not even yourself anymore. And in terms of that whole battle of this whole idea of greed, and Cash has found something that he's good at, but unfortunately when he's a power caller, he's essentially selling people. He's selling straight slave labor. Like the first deal that he makes was like what, $10 million, and he makes that call within like 10 minutes of him being upstairs or some shit.
Like one of the biggest calls, I think, upstairs.
Yeah, in history.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then that's what he goes, dude. It was so funny. He goes, he keeps saying it in white terms, like for him being broke. He's like, I find myself in a non-lucrative cash situation, and I was wondering if I could get in advance. And then it just cuts to like him and Detroit making out and everything behind them changing. I thought that scene was cool as fuck.
Yeah. That was cool. There was like parts too where when before they go on strike, where they have that like team member meeting or whatever, and they have that new manager, and she's like I'm a team lead now, and she's like, I know what you're thinking, manager, and I'm like, and she's like, no, you guys aren't employees anymore, you guys are team members, we're a big team here. Like that I've heard so many times.
Yeah, dude, we're
places,
not,
dude.
oh, you're not a worker, we're a team.
Yeah, we're a team, we're a family. I've heard that shit so many times, so I was glad they mentioned it in this movie. That I don't know, it's such horse shit. I liked that part a lot, and then I liked what was cool is like, throughout the movie, obviously he has to cross that picket line and everything like that. and he kind of almost turned his back on the cause, and because of greed. And I like that the girl that threw the can at him became a meme, and then herself ended up becoming rich and famous.
Yeah.
And ended up being like him and not being part of the cause anymore. So like it can happen to anyone, not just, Cassius.
Yeah, and like that's the thing too. Mike brought up Detroit's art show. And again, it's fucking, I'm not gonna sit here and say it's hard to watch, but like it is just kind of like, what the fuck are we doing?
No, it was hard to watch for me.
And they're throwing phones. But what's funny is right before that, she was getting mad at Cassius for like doing the white voice. She was doing the white voice trying to sell the art to all these fucking white people that were there. And it was just like, and then she goes up there and does some shit like that. And it's like, the fuck is this? Like, this isn't for the cause.
Yeah.
And did you read up on that, Josh? Like, do you get like what the metaphor was?
Yeah, I mean, that's why she did a white British voice, right? Was to even sound more artistic and stuff like that, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Well, I was genuinely wondering because I was sitting there and I was like, I think I have an idea of what this means. And I wasn't sure if you actually looked it up.
No, yeah. I mean, that's pretty much what I saw on that. Even though she was mad at Cassius for what he's done, now he's going fully against the cause, not even just for greed, just for his life in general.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, I mean, at the very beginning of the movie, when it's like the opening scene, he's like almost jealous of her that of Detroit because she has something that she loves, which is her art because she's good at it, and he wishes that he had something that he was good at. So, I like that. I like that he found what he's good at, and clearly he was pretty passionate about it.
So that kind of brings me into this next point that I want to talk about here that I think is really fucked up in my opinion. Okay, the fact that Detroit and Squeeze become a thing when Cassius is doing his own thing up in the power tower, or whatever the hell you want to call it.
Collar.
Yeah, I was joking, but anyway, and the fact that she didn't tell Cassius.
Well, okay, but she kind of did because she said I did everything, but
she didn't tell who with.
Well, because
that would have made a difference.
She offered because he even asked. He was like,
okay, but
she goes, do you want to know? And he goes, yeah. And he goes, wait, do you intend on doing everything but again with this person? And she was like, no. And he goes, all right, I don't want to know. And I think it's because he figured that he would knew who the fuck it was. I don't think if he knew if it was Squeeze or not, but I think it also because he knew in the back of his head he was going to get his fucking girl back, and he didn't want to know and have that hate in him for that way when they do get back together. Because I mean, again, who knows? Maybe he fucked at the party and nobody knows.
But okay, but I'm just like compare that to like our friend group. Say for example,
that's bad.
Say for example, but like you get with one of my exes, I get with one of your exes, like, and like it just makes like that. Like
they're engaged too.
Yeah, now, that's the whole point.
Yeah, and then she hit the wrong. She's like, we were on a break.
There's that elephant in the room,
Yeah. And it's funny too, because when they get back together, you could like see that Squeeze is hurt.
Oh, 1,000,000%. Yeah, he was nothing but good to her.
Dude, while we're on the topic of Squeeze, when they're striking and he's making the announcements and shit, and he's like talking about free healthcare, and he goes on the tangent about connecting an STD, and he's like, like gonorrhea or something like that, and now
everybody gets all silent.
Yeah, he's like talking about like hurts to pee. He's basically just outing himself for having one. I thought that was funny as shit, dude.
That was
and then he's like, and then fuck, he's like something. Everyone's like, yeah, like right after. Yeah, that was hilarious too. I think.
Dude, the movie's really funny.
It is. So then let's keep rolling. So we left off. They want to go on strike, and they want basically to eliminate the power callers. Like they want the money to be spread down. The people want to be paid at Regal, but Regal's saying fuck you. And like what Keith kind of says, what they want to say when he says my success is not my fault. He's like, they invited me upstairs. I'm going to do my fucking job. Like you guys could be here too, essentially. He's like, all you have to do is pick up the phone and do a white voice.
And tell me this: how do you compare that to like something real life? The elitists and the middle class versus the power callers and the people at Regal. Like that's essentially what they're saying with that, I think.
Yeah, basically. And then what was funny is they have Mr. Boop, where they constantly beep out his name, dude. And when he gets up there,
loved him.
He goes, hi, Cassius. And he goes, only white voices from here on out, all right?
Oh, sorry about that.
Oh my god, dude, the way that they were just able to snap it fucking killed me. And
so what did you think? What did you think about him not having a name?
Dude, I forgot about that. It wasn't until they beeped it because I was like, that missed this guy's name, and then I looked it up on IMDb and it just said Mr. Blank, and I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, that says Mr. Blank's white name for
yep.
Our white voice for Patton Oswalt. Yeah, so the theory is he lost his name because he's so devoted to working, and he lost the rights to his own name and everything. That makes sense. So that's funny.
Yeah. So then
go ahead,
we progress, and this is where you get from. All right, Cash is on the come up. Everything's cool. He lost his friends and his girl, and I mean, technically, as his family, he like saved their house, but they don't really focus on that anymore because that doesn't really matter. He saved the family, good and done. Which I'm kind of glad that's how it worked. Cassius gets invited by Mr. Boop to go to the party of what's the dude's name? Why am I blanking?
Oh, Steve Lift.
Yeah, Steve Lift. He's the fucking owner of Way Free, and so he gets invited to a party there. And what's really funny is like right when it starts, it's like a meeting. He goes, "I'm glad you all gathered here today." And he goes, "Let's get fucked up," and everyone just starts going crazy. And so party progresses, whatever. He meets Steve Lift, but he invites Keith to fucking sit in front of the party. Super weird. So at this point, then that would make Cassius and Mr. Boop the only two black people there. Cassius is now put in front of the group, and dude, Steve Lift is being like, "I know you can rap." I'm like, "Come on and rap." He goes, "Nah, man, like, I can't rap." And like, cause prior to that, he's like, "You ever cap anyone?" He's like, like I grew up around there, but thankfully, no, I have never had to do anything such a thing. I've never even held a gun." And then he asks him to rap. And he's like, "Oh, I can't rap." And it cuts, and he's on the stairs, bro. And he fucking can't rap to save his life. Sounds like shit. He catches a vibe, and it's just him saying the N-word over and over again because that's all the white people want to hear. And then fucking they all just start repeating it. And dude, he doesn't even say anything for the last like two verses, if you want to call it that. And the white people are just saying it back and forth that they're going dumb. I had forgotten about that scene, dude. It caught me so off guard.
Yeah, so basically it was an elite party, and he thought he was an elite amongst elites, but no, instead he's there as their entertainment.
Yep,
pretty much.
Yeah, I know that part was hard to watch too.
Yeah, dude, it fucking sucked.
Yeah,
I hated that for sure. But it was funny when Steve was just like, because these dumb annoying broads are at all of my fucking parties. They don't have anything to bring to the table.
Yeah,
it's like, damn, dude. And that's just how he's got it, I guess. But yeah, so then at that point, that's when he's in the house, and then he gets offered at the end of the night to go downstairs and talk it out with Steve, and then that's where he goes to use the bathroom, takes the wrong turn, gets introduced to the whole idea of horse people.
And what'd you think of the movie?
Dude, that movie's funny as fuck. And then I love too in the sale of it to Cash, where he's like trying to convince him to do it. He's like, "Think about it, bro. We'll get a horse cock for 5 years." He's like, "What?" Like, why is that the first thing that you're thinking of?
Yeah, and he's like, if you would have watched the movie first, you wouldn't think it was weird at all.
Yeah, dude. He's basically trying to justify it. He's like, "Yeah, you're freaking out. It's totally justifiable." shows him the video of how they want to make people into horses, and he's still freaking the fuck out. He goes, "What's wrong, dude? We just showed you why it's okay."
But, yeah. I was really wondering where the fuck I recognized Armie Hammer from. Social Network was the biggest one.
Yeah, he's the
brother. Him and his brother.
Yeah. I was like, dude, his face looks so familiar. I know there's a couple movies that he's been in, like even Hall Pass too, I think.
Yeah.
So I don't know why that was fucking bothering me.
He's too handsome.
He is too handsome, man.
I just understood your joke from earlier. I'm gonna say it.
Which one?
Detroit's from Thor.
Jesus Christ. You didn't know that?
Oh my god, bro.
God. Anyway, damn.
This is a slow episode today, huh?
Bro, yeah. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have taken that.
Did you take a nap? Oh, okay.
Dude, I took a fucking nice nap when I got home from work.
Tessa Thompson's a great fucking actor.
She's really good.
I thought she looked really familiar, and I just didn't look her up.
I know right away.
There's a couple scenes too in that movie where I
What'd you guys think of her earrings?
Eyes got
Dude,
wide.
the earrings are funny as fuck. And then I love too, like her job is just her spitting the shit out of the sign when she's not doing art. And she goes, "I have the best corner and the biggest sign."
And then Squeeze comes up and fucking does some
bro.
some tricks and
Yeah, that was the part where I'm like, are they hinting at them?
Yeah,
like having something, or that's what got me at first because I was like,
well,
what the hell?
He pulled up on some like sleazy shit.
Yeah, he's like, I can give you a ride home.
Yeah.
And then you knew right there Cassius wasn't gonna be there for her, and you're like, damn.
Yeah. Like this is happening. There's nothing we can do.
We're doing this, huh?
Shit.
What an asshole. What an asshole.
Yeah. So then, at the end, this movie technically has a mid-credit scene, although I mean it starts right away.
Fucking horses breaking.
Yeah, what'd you guys think of that?
Dude,
I liked it. I think that's it saved the ending a little bit for me.
That's where watching that though is, again, you can interpret that as Cassius got played, or this was a part of the script the whole time, like that they needed to sacrifice Steve, and it'd just be like, all right, Cassius, like we need to kill someone big if we want to make this believable. And so then they take him out, and then sure enough, I'm sure it'd be funny if they did follow up in just a 10-minute sequel, and it's just him like, here you go, here's your $100 million, here's the fucking horse super serum to turn you back to a human.
Well, if he's their MLK, don't you think maybe he'd get assassinated too?
Maybe. I did think of that when they said MLK, and I was like, hey.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So no. That scene right there alone, that mid-credit scene, makes me think that Cassius simply just didn't know, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, dude, that's the thing is, like, without that mid-credit scene, I think I would have been sold on him being on it, like in on it, you know? But I mean, you could be right, Brian. They could have just been sacrificing him, and
right, because again, obviously, there's someone above him making.
Yeah, and I think Steve is so obsessed with his business and making money that he would just think in his head, yeah, it's worth giving my own life for it.
Yeah, basically.
My work.
Yeah, unless they turn him into a horse to save his life or some shit like that.
Yeah, it's funny. Before watching this movie, I saw that it was like people were saying it's Atlanta meets Twilight Zone, and I feel like that nails it.
So I'm glad you said that, because I was gonna say, Josh and Mike, I think you watched season 1 of Atlanta?
Nope.
Aiden did.
Okay. Aiden did. Okay. Yeah. But it's cool. Like when it starts off, you basically get like a Darius character living in a dystopian world. And like when he's talking to Detroit at the beginning, talking about dying and like the sun exploding and shit. And like the fact that in the beginning, like when they're in the car, she's like, can we not talk about the sun exploding today and enjoy time with our friends? He's like, all right. Because that's just some Darius ass shit. So it was funny seeing that. And then to see like this as if Darius did like a bunch of blow, and now he's up and he's doing the white boys, and he's fucking hitting fucking tens and fucking hundreds of calls in a fucking day and winning. Yeah. And that was fucking sick. And so again, that was like a big reason I like thought this movie would be a good wreck, because again, we had just got off the Atlanta train, and Lakeith is just such a good fucking actor, dude.
He is.
So I was really happy that we agreed to do this, because again, I feel like, I mean, the biggest thing he's been in since would have been fucking his quick little bit in the first Knives Out.
Yeah.
I feel like that would be like the biggest thing he's been a part of since Atlanta.
Yeah, and then too, you gotta think they're only 2 seasons of Atlanta at that point, probably by the time this came out.
2 seasons, and I don't even know if the second season came out. I'm pretty sure that season came out fall of 2018.
Yeah, because they probably filmed this in 2017.
Right.
So yeah, yeah, like you just said, he wasn't in Knives Out yet or anything like that. I mean, he deserves more work. He's a really good actor.
Yeah, definitely. And again, we literally just saw Brian Tyree Hill get nominated for Best Supporting Actor for a fucking Oscar. That's so sick. And again, I'm not saying Donald Glover made these guys by any means. Like, obviously, he would have had to find them from somewhere. But again, that's where we know them from. They weren't really in anything, so it's cool to fucking see stuff like this.
Yeah, I want to say too before we get into trivia, because I forgot about this scene. But when he goes to the gas station, he's like, "Can I get 40 on 2?" and throws down 40 cents.
Dude, that so shit funny. Was so fucking funny. You see the beater just smoking in the back. Oh my god! And then Terry Crews being upstairs and like just fucking being his uncle was also funny as shit.
Where's my money?
Yeah, and then he goes, that shit's a bucket. And he goes, give it back then. And he like looks at him and goes, that's what I thought. Dude, yeah, and then also before we get into trivia, did you notice the dad's picture moving to represent how we felt about fucking Cash the whole time? I thought that was such a good little plug-in, dude.
Yeah, I didn't even notice it until halfway through the movie.
Yeah, well,
I think once he was in his new house,
yeah,
or new apartment, yeah, that's
I
when I started
noticed
noticing
the
it
one
changing.
transition before that, it's on the wall, and it's kind of like the dad like looking down,
Yeah.
and then like I think the one in the house is literally just him like that.
Yeah, and then I like the last one. He's like hitting his ankles together and
Yeah,
like
he's
jumping up in
fucking
the
jumping
air.
for joy in the air.
Yeah.
Dude, no, I love that. It's like, and again, it's good because we're at that point right now, we're all like getting out of college and like we're at the age where we're actually like not just taking a fucking job at Little Caesars or like Honey Baked Ham. No, like we're starting our fucking careers
Trying to find
and
what we want to do with our lives.
exactly. And
Yeah.
I mean, we've had a couple friends basically sell out who worked like 60-hour weeks and we never fucking saw. We're not gonna name names, Chewy. But like to see that on this side and then to like become unrecognizable is just like holy fuck. Like it's true, people do get like that, but
Yeah.
obviously it's on a bigger scale here because it's a movie and they
Yeah.
have to make it more dramatic. But at the same time, it's like that could easily be me. Like if I really wanted to be in my bag at work, like I'd fucking stay like an hour over and go in an hour early, fucking have no time to do like stuff like this. Like, yeah, I could do that.
Really sweat your ass off.
Yeah, exactly. It's just kind of
Yeah.
like, no, I need that work-life balance.
I want my life.
Exactly. So like,
Yeah.
again, and it was cool that his dad in the background could like represent where Cassius was and how Cassius was being portrayed by everybody else, and it was just taken in that one picture instead of having to interact with all these other characters again to show that they're pissed at him because you already know that's implied.
Yeah. Yeah, let's get Brian. I think you're really gonna like this first one. I've been saving it.
What you got?
Donald Glover,
Mhm.
Childish Gambino himself, originally was planned to play the lead of Cassius Green, but he was unable to due to conflicts with Solo, a Star Wars story, which came out.
Fuck.
So he recommended his Atlanta co-star.
Let's go.
How sweet is that,
dude? He's a fucking goat. And you know what I was thinking? Mr. Boop could have been played by Childish Gambino, Mr. Donald Glover himself. I thought that would have been a good fucking role, especially because we saw him as Mr. Chocolate.
Yeah.
Like again, they just have to make him bald, put a beard on.
It was like when we said he should have played Teddy Perkins too. He should have played Teddy Perkins. During the bar scene, when Danny Glover's character is asked why isn't he dancing, he responded with, "I'm too old for that shit," which I mentioned earlier. The line that made him famous from Lethal Weapon. Love that. Over 60 scenes in this movie were shot in 28 days. That's crazy.
Yeah, you could tell some of them like the fades weren't the best, and you could tell that this wasn't like a multi-millionaire, because when I think multi, I'm thinking over like 10.
Yeah,
like you could tell this movie again, 3 million,
didn't have the biggest
3.5 is not a small budget,
but for the cast, like 3.5
for the cast.
Nuts,
and again,
right?
you got to remember, like, she wasn't even introduced in Thor yet.
Yeah.
So yeah, they fucking basically got
actually Thor. I think Ragnarok came out in 2017, right, Mike? 2017. I think it was the year we graduated.
Yeah, 17.
That sounds about right.
But maybe it wasn't out yet when they cast her. Probably not.
Yeah, and again, when they were like casting and stuff,
Yeah.
and I mean, no one could have known. I mean, I guess it is a Marvel bag, so I think they kind of knew.
But like Keith Stanfield, Tessa Thompson, you got Terry Crews, David Cross, Armie Hammer, Stephen Yeun, Ben Oswald, like so many people for that cat for that price.
It almost feels like who directed this, because this almost seems like them like being like, this is a really good script. Like I don't even need
Boots Riley.
I don't even need like my normal payout here because this just seems fun,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like one of those movies where they kind of did it for themselves in a way.
It could be one of those things where the salaries for the actors and actresses aren't included in the budget.
Maybe.
Good.
Yeah. The name of the main character, Cash Green, is a reference to what motivates him throughout the whole movie and his pursuit to wealth. I think we mentioned that earlier.
Yep. Cash Green.
Yep. The plate Cash snorts the powder on is a horse named Mr. Bobo. Bobo in Filipino language means stupid. The second production to involve Lakeith Stanfield in the show that contains a horse hybrid, the first being a cartoon series, BoJack Horseman.
Okay.
Yeah, and then
I was thinking of BoJack when I saw them. I was like, damn, can I go back and watch that show?
Yeah, and that was actually everything. So we tackled most of the stuff, most of the Easter eggs and stuff. I mean, I'm sure there's probably even more. And then that's again to mention the rewatchability, that things you could catch.
Yeah, I will say that's one thing. As much as I'm not gonna say I'm gonna shit on this movie in terms of our review, but I'm not gonna be a huge fan of it.
Right,
it is rewatchable, to be honest.
Yeah, do you want to go first, Mike?
It's a fun one
for the reviews. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love the dystopian theme for movies, to be honest with you. I just wish that with the dystopians, for me, it just comes down to, I like that darker, little bit more serious side of things, and that's why I didn't portray the ending so well. But all the cameos, and there's so many funny scenes in this movie. For me, I think a 79 out of 100 is pretty justifiable.
Still a good score.
I kind of, yeah, it's a good score. I think it kind of falls in between a lot of the critics and a lot of the audience scores.
Yeah. Yeah, I can go after that. I'm right by you, Mike. I'm giving it an 81. I really did enjoy this movie, and I can definitely see myself rewatching it, which kind of put it in the 80 threshold for me. But yeah, I mean, some of it, like Brian mentioned not too long ago, it's kind of like the flow into different scenes. You can kind of tell that's maybe a little bit rushed, and there's certain parts where it's like, maybe they could have done it a different way. But the movie's really funny, super original movie. And like, yeah, if you can like go into it, or like even accept the fact throughout the movie that this is a different reality than our own, and kind of throw logic out the window a little bit. It's kind of like watching those Fast and Furious movies. Like, kind of you just have to throw logic out the window a little bit.
The ground always wins.
Yeah, the ground always wins.
Fast and Furious movies.
Yeah,
they're gas.
They're gas.
We're reviewing all 10 when
we're doing Fast X. Yeah, so I think 81's a good score. I really do like it, and I'd recommend it.
All right.
So.
All right, I'm gonna finish up here. My score, I'll say right now, it's not much higher than you guys. I'm coming in with an 83 comfortably on this movie. I'm really glad that we got to add this to the list. I wish the other boys would have got to it. But like, again, this movie is just so much fucking fun. And like Josh said, you said that perfectly. You just kind of got to throw logic out the window. Like, the world looks normal, but it's fucking not. There's like a ton of stuff going on in this whole world. And to see Lakeith's character, again, we know him as Darius, so you start off, Cash Green reminds you of Darius, but then progressively just becomes hungry for the power, and he gets all this money and he doesn't give a fuck. His morals are out the window. He's basically selling people. He's selling bombs that he knows are gonna go and fucking kill people. Doesn't care. He's like, I gotta get my bag, and at the same time he's having fun with it. so to like have this whole power struggle idea of greed, but then you enter the dystopian world. And again, it's not dystopian in the sense of like the Hunger Games, where it's like super violent or something like that. Instead, we're dystopian in the sense of they want to evolve humans even further to become a workhorse, essentially. And that whole idea, like Josh said, just super fucking original. Like, I had so much fun watching this movie. Again, I haven't seen this. This is my second time seeing it, and I haven't seen this since late 2017, early 2018 or something like that. And it's just like, holy fuck, like, I forgot so much, and I know I enjoyed it this much the first time around, and here I am with a whole different opinion on it. And now, even looking at the ending, I'm sitting here wondering, did Cash accept the fucking deal? Did he accept the $100 million deal?
He didn't.
I don't know,
but
man.
It is cool to be able to interpret it in different ways.
Yeah, because what makes that whole thing funny is the idea of like, he releases it, he exposes them and releases this video of these horses crying for help, and they've been locked up and they didn't know that this was going to happen to them, and then their fucking stock skyrockets 130%, I think is what they said. Like, that's funny as fuck. And then you sit there and you go, yeah, honestly, this is dystopian, because I almost feel like some sick fucks would throw more money into a company doing something like that.
Well, that's the thing too, is like the ending isn't like a Inception thing where like it's kind of made to be left open, where like it's up to the viewer. This does have an ending, and like people have theories as to what they believe actually happened at the end. So that's the difference from like a movie like that. Like, it wasn't trying to leave it on a cliffhanger, I don't think, but it left it kind of open in a way, right, where you could take it in different ways. So I want to ask you, Brian, do you think if people like or love Atlanta that they'd like or love this movie, or not really much of connection?
So again, the connection is there. If you liked Atlanta, and if you like us, I think we were both in agreement that Darius was the fucking best character in Atlanta. Yeah. Donald Glover wrote the shit out of that, and Lakeith Stanfield fucking killed it. So that just worked out perfectly. So if you like Lakeith, fucking give this movie a go. And if you like the randomness of fucking Atlanta, because again, Atlanta isn't by any means a normal world. Like, you watch a motherfucker take off in an invisible boatmobile the second season.
Justin Bieber's black.
Yeah, Justin Bieber's black. Like, everything's thrown off a little bit in that world. So it's like, yeah, give this movie a go. If you enjoy Atlanta, if you enjoyed that style, like, yeah, fuck it, you'll love this one. Again, it gets a little outlandish with the horses, and you could take it like Mikey, where Mikey was like texting us at 3 a.m. saying, Brian, what the fuck was this movie? Or you're like, Josh, you're like, that's kind of funny. Like, that's an original thought. I like that.
No, and by all means, I will say this: like, this is super fucking original. Like, this movie, by all means, like, deserves so much credit in that sense. It's just, for me personally, when it comes to dystopian, and I just wish that I like more of like the darker approach to things. And I get where this was going, more of the comedy, and that was more organic in that sense.
Yeah, no, and like too, like I said, if you're not willing to, and you know, sometimes I'm not. I just want to watch a movie and be able to like not really think about it. Yeah, and like I don't know, like especially with it being a comedy, most comedies you can kind of like turn your brain off and just relax and watch it and have a good time. And this one, you kind of, I mean, you can, but like you got to accept, like I said, that it's not really our reality. It's a different Oakland than like what our Oakland is, right? So, yeah, I don't know. But I do enjoy this movie, and I think there is a lot of rewatchability. So I can definitely see myself rewatching it. I think it leaves Netflix though at the end of this month, at the end of February. So
so get on that. February is the
but guess what though? There's going to be a lot of people leaving Netflix at the end of this month.
This movie's leaving Netflix. We're leaving Netflix. You know, Small Guys is ending our partnership with Netflix, unless Netflix wants to give us all our own accounts, because right now our parents pay for it.
I
live them. Don't say that. Don't say that. We're not using other accounts. We pay for our own accounts.
I will say though, I really do think that if they do that and they install like that for real, and for like in terms of like a long-term thing, I really don't see Netflix. Like, I know it's has a big footprint in entertainment, but I really don't see it lasting.
It lost like money last year. Every quarter was worse and worse.
It's gonna keep on losing money.
I did a whole presentation on it in my capstone right before I left Grand Valley.
I was seeing on Reddit though, people were like, I've been with Netflix for over a decade, and now like I travel for work, and now I won't be able to watch it because I can only be on 4 screens, and my family this or that. Like, a lot of people are done with Netflix. Some people said they only subscribe for maybe 1 or 2 months a year so they could binge all the stuff they want to watch, and then that's it.
That's true.
I think they'll lose a lot of money. We'll see. I think
and you know what it will be too, even if like people don't completely leave. Like, I was gonna tell my parents, well, fuck it, just switch it to 1 or 2 screens or 1 screen instead of having it on 4. Because like if they're gonna kick me off, whatever, I'll just come home and fucking watch it, or you guys can send it to me and I'll get like a temporary one so I can binge like Stranger Things in one go.
Yeah.
So tell me this: what's your guys' preferred streaming method going into February of 2023? If you had to pick one out of all of them,
a service. Yeah, I'd go
service. HBO is fucking killing
HBO. I watch HBO almost every day.
Yeah, dude, I've been cruising through the Batman animated series. I've been having so much fun with that.
Their originals are like top tier compared to anything else.
Yeah, dude. And again, I haven't even watched White Lotus in print. That's like Grammy nominated.
I just finished it.
Nominated.
I just finished it. It's pretty good. Yeah, I like it. Yep.
So,
what would you say, Mike?
I mean, honestly, I think no.
Well, he's a DC guy. He might say
no. HBO, 100%.
Okay.
I think I mean, for the most part, like a lot of their originals too, I haven't even like touched like White Lotus. Like,
Disney Plus ain't bad either.
No, Disney Plus is up there. Disney Plus is up there for sure.
But yeah.
But that's the thing though. You're comparing the dark to the light. HBO versus Disney Plus.
Yeah.
But I think
sucks about, sorry.
No, I was gonna say, I think for the most part though, HBO Max is getting this streaming service footprint by the balls, and I think it's only going to keep on growing.
Yeah, because again, like when thinking about Disney Plus, like Disney Plus is a great streaming service, don't get me wrong, but then you're only limited to Disney. The beauty of Netflix was you could pop on and watch one of the worst fucking movies you've ever seen, or you could watch like a low-key sleeper action movie that you didn't even know existed. And that is going to be gone for a lot of people. And again, I'm sure my dad will still be on it watching all these crazy, cheesy-ass movies, being like, that's a good film, but I won't even care enough to watch it anymore because I'm not going to buy Netflix on my own. I live 2.5 hours away from my parents, like... That's fucked.
Like Apple TV has really good originals, but we just need them to have more stuff, which
they
eventually
need more.
They will. So.
Yeah, dude. And speaking of which, I just watched the first episode of Blackbird. So excited. I'm so excited. That's
depending on that's gonna bring me to the thing next. Our next episode will be Knock at the Cabin, I believe it's called. That's the Dave Bautista M. Night Shyamalan movie. And then if we have time, obviously we're going to cover episode 4 of Last of Us 2. We do that every Friday. We cover the new Last of Us episode, but if we have time, we might do Blackbird. I know you watched the first episode, and Aiden and Mike, or Aiden and Andrew, sorry. Aiden and Andrew both watched the full show. I think it's 6 episodes, and it's an Apple TV original, and they really, really liked it. So I think
Mhm.
they kind of
Andrew
want to
fucking
talk about
sat
it.
down and watched that shit in one go. He like Aiden
Yeah.
recommended it to him, and then Andrew beat like Aiden watching it.
Yeah.
Or did Andrew watch it first? Now that I'm thinking about it,
I think Andrew
I don't-
told Aiden, but I'm not sure.
all right,
They,
I
they
don't
both
remember,
have been.
but either way, Andrew killed it in like a night and a half, and then Aiden finished it in like 2 nights.
Yeah.
What's the basis of it, really quick?
So the basis is this guy goes to jail and he gets an opportunity to transfer prisons and talk with a serial killer because they could only convict the serial killer for 2 bodies, but they think he committed up to 14 murders, I think is what they said.
Wow.
But again, they only had 2 bodies, so they wanted him to go in and get the body of, or find out where the body of one girl is, if not all of them. So that's the idea.
Yeah, I need a new show to watch, so if I can get it done by the time we record.
Josh, you'll like it. I think you'll be able to get it in.
Yeah.
I
So,
think I'm gonna binge The Last of Us this weekend.
you should, dude. You should.
I
Yeah,
know,
you should.
I know, and I
Last
gotta
of Us is
replay. I
so
gotta
good.
replay the fucking game too, man. With all this hype.
Yeah, I
around it
just
now.
beat the game. It's so good. I actually just started the second one, so. But all right, boys. We'll see you guys Friday. Knock at the cabin.
Yep, Friday.
Knock on my door too.
I think it's knock on the cabin. Hold on. Knock at the cabin. I was right. Okay, thank God. All right. I'll see you, boys.
All right, boys. Love you. Thanks for watching this movie.
Oh yeah.
Love you too.
See you.
Peace.